What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube, DLive, Twitter, Twitch. Okay, not really. But we are here covering all of the top news and even more. On top of the news that we're going to be covering here, we're going to be adding a lot of news to our website that's not safe for anywhere. So make sure to check out marfooglenews.com when you get a chance. All right, without further ado, we're going to get through this. Just to let you know, there are some huge stories right now, especially with the China events that are going on. We are actually over on Brighteon as well. In fact, we just posted one of our first videos. We are ranked number 41 just from the individual video we put out via email. Now, we put a video out via the alerts with Dr. Paul Cottrell. Again, you know, there's some debate now about his theories, some other theories, and I believe most of it is a lot of people are, I guess, getting hit for saying anything about it. If you are not ABC News, CNN, these, mentioned names, then you really can't talk about it. In fact, they are going a way higher step on a lot of the people that are talking about these things on social medias. So a lot of things are going on behind the scenes that the public is not aware about. Now, we're going to cover a lot of stuff in the show in a short time period. I also want to let you guys know that this is going to be a relatively short show. If we're going to cut everything a little bit shorter so we can get a lot of information in to a short time period. We're going to talk about the clockwork signals coming from space, or supposedly coming from space. We're going to talk about Antarctica hitting record highs. We're going to talk about earthquakes. We're going to talk about all sorts of things today. Not only that, we are going to hit the official numbers on the virus, and of course, we're going to give you a disclaimer that it is absolutely backed up by mainstream, and if you want anything else but that, you're going to need to go to our website. Again, that's free. You do not have to pay for our extra information on our website, so it's going to be a big deal. So, all right, I'm going to get back into it. We're going to be right back, and I'm going to introduce you to my co-host, Dex, right after this. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to also show you marfooglenews.com. This is a great thing to have for you guys as a resource. In fact, we do the work before every single show to make sure that we have every single article backing up every single thing we say on the website. So when you go to our website, you'll see this thumbnail. You want to click on that, Signals from Space, and then you will end up seeing the website down below. You'll be able to watch this video live or afterwards, and then down below you'll have all of the articles. You have the show topics, and then you will have the not safe for YouTube down here. Now, these are the articles we've hand collected to let you know what is going on. On top of that, there are dozens of videos proving exactly what we are saying. We are working on a big project as far as this entire situation here. Now, again, people are not just getting strikes. They're actually getting taken off of the tube altogether. So we have not stopped putting the information out. We're just doing it in a different way. As far as Brighteon, I think that it's good that we support other platforms as well. We're always going to have our home base on YouTube. Now, of course, this is live on DLive. And then, of course, if you're on YouTube, it is going to be a replay. And most of the time, I'm live in chat. Tonight and yesterday, today, and tomorrow are all special days. My 5-year-old just turned 5. 4-year-old just turned 5 yesterday. And then my 13-year-old just turned 14 today. So we are preparing tomorrow. We're going to have a birthday party, all sorts of stuff. So we've got a ton of stuff to do. So that's why I'm getting into a short show. Of course, we've had just a crazy last few days. And then, of course, my friends, I just want to say quickly, I'm praying for Snafu Snaps. Apparently, something's going on there. I don't know if he's just taking a break or what. But I also want to pray for Cab 7. Cab 7 is a YouTuber and a DLiver, and he's going through a lot of crap right now. So just ask for prayer for him. He's getting hit pretty hard. All right, Dex, I'm going to pull you in here. For some reason, I feel like something is up here as far as my sound. Let's see here. There we go. I don't know if that helped. Now, Dex, this latest cycle is absolutely nuts. What would you want to say about this whole last couple days of news?
Well, hey Adam, I'm here, and hello Foogle fam. I think this news is it's interesting that we're able to now cover some other things. Like the distractions of the media have sort of gone away with the last round of impeachment news. That's finally over with. So there's a lot of other things that we're starting to be able to pay attention to, not just ourselves, but in the news cycle. It's coming out. We're starting to get other information. It's good that we're able to do that. And it's good to also sort of take time and pay attention to what else is happening besides, what's happening in China. So, because that can completely consume you, and you need to be aware of it. But at the same time, there's a lot of other things happening in the world. So,
and there's no shortage too. We could make a 4-hour show just on what is going on in China. Of course, we are doing that, and all of the stuff that we're doing on the side, we're doing it. Some people say, oh, this is for that, or they say it's for money. All of the extra work we're putting into the China stuff, that's all essentially going onto a platform you can't even donate to, as far as the watching it. The only, I guess, to be completely transparent, the only stuff that we might get is somebody clicking on our Amazon link on our website, but that's about it. Everybody is watching those videos. The time that we're taking doing all of the side stuff, that's not really, that's not what it's for. It's for because both myself, Dex, care about what's going on, and we thoroughly, after talking to military members all over the country, we know something is way, way bigger behind the veil. So if you don't believe us, then I would thoroughly ask you to go look at our stuff, go look at what we're talking about. It's not all just mainstream. It's videos from the country, the thousands of them coming out as we speak. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's mainstream is talking about. They have talked the last 2 years about aliens coming out of nowhere. The last 3 years, we've seen all sorts of stories coming out, especially in the Navy. Navy saying to all of their employees, not just their soldiers, but every single personnel, report a UFO if you see one, which was pretty interesting. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. First off, I do want to just say nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps the show. And you should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, I want to thank my mods. Thank you guys for holding it down. Thank you guys who have stuck with me. Make sure to check out CJ Blaze's new videos. Check out JStone78, Bones' channel. All of my mods that are putting on stuff, LCJC family, of course. All of our mods that are creators as well. We also have a group I'll talk about later of creators that are gathering right now to put together some sort of system. We've got a lot of big projects going on, so let's get through it. And that son of a bitch, Philippine president says he will scrap military pact with U.S. And yes, that's a quote, and that guy is no joke. It says Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte will end the visiting forces agreement that underpins the U.S. military training exercises with the country's troops, one of his top advisors announced Friday. It says that the president said he is terminating the VFA, Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzo said on Friday. It says, I asked for a clarification, and he said he is not changing his decision. So there is no more pact, apparently. It says that choice is another blow to the relationship between the United States and the Philippines, which has suffered for years from disputes over Duterte's human rights record. Now, we actually know that he was basically taking drug dealers and other criminals and doing some pretty savage stuff. In fact, they are no longer with us. Understandably, most of the world says, hey, if you got caught selling drugs, you would go to prison. You might get a life sentence, but you don't usually get the penalty, the ultimate penalty, if you know what I mean. So it's a pretty big deal. A lot of people have talked about it. Some actually agree with him because they believe that it actually stops the rest of the people from doing it. Personally, I know a lot of people's lives have been destroyed by drugs, so I know it's easy for some that are, related to somebody who's had their life destroyed, say, hey, that's great. I think it really caused a lot of personal pain with a lot of people. And I believe that is why a lot of people have actually looked at that and said we should do that and stuff like that. I don't personally agree with it, but I do see why people say that. So again, that's such a touchy subject that it's all in opinion. If you want to leave your opinion or if you want to call in, you can at 224-400-MARF. We're going to be opening up the phone calls. We're not going to get that many phone calls in today, so make sure to get in early. Then, of course, the main story of the day. First contact, something in space is sending Earth signals like clockwork. Scientists don't know why. Now, we've actually seen in the past that we've had messages coming from space, but this is something that our military group talked about 6 months ago. Another thing that I want to say is, with over 400 active and retired military folks in our group, confirmed by DD-214s and other ways, here's the thing. If you watch my show, you know that we actually talked about several things, including the WHO, the things that... we actually talked about it over the last couple months. In fact, I pulled out 3 videos where I showed you that map of the economic loss after something just like what is happening right now. And it's pretty nuts to know that we were on the right track. And again, people say that we're this and that, but look, our track record speaks for itself. It's not, I don't take any of the credit. I'm saying the people that are watching the show and giving us information are absolutely amazing. We have doctors, scientists, firemen, policemen, politicians, all watching this little show. I consider this little. Again, one thing I did forget at the beginning, we do have Marfoogle News, the main channel on YouTube. That's 151,000 it just hit on YouTube. And then we have our backup channel, which actually just went up another 1,000. It is at 106,000 subscribers on YouTube. 2 different channels, Marfoogle TV and Marfoogle News. Now, this says a new study in an international team of scientists led by astronomers at the Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment Fast Radio Burst Project. Sorry. In British Columbia has discovered that a mystery radio source in a galaxy some 500 million light years from our solar system is sending out fast radio bursts like clockwork in 16.35 day cycles, including 1 to 2 bursts per hour over a 4-day period, and then 12 days of silence before starting up again. Think about those numbers right there. So it's every 16.35 days, so it's an exact time, including 1 to 2 bursts per hour, so every half an hour a burst, over a 4-day period, and then 12 days of silence before starting up again. I wonder if you look at the long term of this, is it something like you're going to have to listen for 5 years to get Morse code of some sort? Is this first contact? Is this something reaching out from space? Now, some of you, I know your beliefs. A lot of people in this group have completely different beliefs, and that is accepted here. We want you guys to be able to, listen to somebody else that has a completely conflicting opinion of something and be able to say, okay, cool. You believe that, I believe this. We're great. Obviously, that doesn't happen very often, and that's why some folks think we're at the brink of a civil conflict. But here, it's a little bit different. If you guys have been here for 2 years, a lot of people really do try to get along in our chat. Usually have anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 people watching every show. It really is. We've kind of weeded out the people that aren't accepting, and most people here, they want to talk, they want to learn, they want to listen. This says the discovery is important because out of the 150 plus fast radio bursts recorded by Earth-based observatories over the last decade and a half, only 10 of them have repeated, and none as steadily as the source discussed in the study. Furthermore, only a handful of them have been tracked back to the galaxy they came from. It says the mystery signal known as FRB 18916 blah 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 was first discovered in 2017, but has continued repeating steadily, albeit at a rate of 600 times fainter than the first bright flare. In their studies, scientists analyzed 28 bursts which took place between September 2018 and October 2019, confirming the pattern and excitedly concluding that this is the first detected periodicity of any kind of FRB, fast radio burst source. So they are saying that this is an actual pattern of radio that is actually coming to Earth. A lot of you might be saying that, is this the setup for some sort of, false alien invasion? Is this actually an alien, civilization contacting us? Is there somebody on their way? What's even crazier, over the last 2 years, we saw Oumuamua. Oumuamua was our first interstellar visitor. It was a cigar-shaped thing. A lot of people, even a Harvard professor, said that it was actually possibly a spaceship. It came by, and not only was it one of the first interstellar visitors that we've ever actually observed, this thing swooped by Earth and then sped up on its way out. Extremely creepy, and it did not go. See, the Earth and all of the planets supposedly go in a flat kind of plane. Yes, they all turn and they're all doing their own things according to them, but they're all on a flat line. Everything is linear. It's on a straight line. Everything is rotating the same. So it's not, a planet here, one's going like this, one's going like this. It doesn't look like Saturn. The Saturn's rings at an angle. It's flat. So if Saturn was the sun and Saturn's rings were all of the planets, that's what it actually looks like, flat, right? So the interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, came in at an angle, basically diagonal from a different galaxy, came by, swooped, and if you look at the map, it's creepy. It is literally creepy. It swooped right by Earth and then sped up. Then we had a second interstellar. Some people even thought that the first one, Oumuamua, came by and then dropped something off, or maybe something got, stopped, dropped off, and then is coming this way, whatever. Now, I'm not saying I absolutely believe this, but I've always wondered. And as far as the things coming through, and now the USA is telling military to absolutely report any kind of UFO seen, the videos that we've shown you from our viewers, some of the stuff is absolutely nuts. We're talking about possibly, if this was true, and I mean that, if this was true, possibly meeting aliens or getting destroyed by them in our lifetime, or getting saved by them. That is pretty freaking wild. Some people think that they actually have been here or live on Earth for a long time. A lot of people talk about the secret space programs, including myself. We know that they've had some stuff in space. They even had, all the way 20, 30 years ago, soldiers listed in the military as off-Earth soldiers. And they weren't, there was nothing that collaborates that they were official astronauts. These guys were totally off-grid. Lists were leaked of, extraterrestrial, or not extraterrestrial, whatever the word for off-Earth soldiers were. And they were listed in different ranks. So as far as the Space Force, it's almost like T-Man was, possibly trying to bring it out into the public. Who knows if there was Air Force usually controlled the space part of military action. They have a certain command that was in charge of satellites, things like that. Now it's actually its own branch of the military, which is, gotten a lot of heat. A lot of people have criticized. We've talked about the whole thing. So it says the new FRB was tracked down to SDSS J01 5800 28 plus blah, 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 a star-forming galaxy about 500 million light years from Earth. The discovery of the 16.35 periodicity of the repeating FRB source is an important clue to the nature of this object. Scientists suggested providing several possible explanations for what may be causing the phenomenon. One possibility is that the object is orbiting a sun, which sends signal out only at certain intervals in orbit. Alternatively, it could be a signal sent by a binary star system made up of a massive star and a super dense, highly magnetized neutron star. Or it could be a standalone object caused by rotation or wobbling, such as a highly magnetic neutron star. So, whatever this may be, a lot of people are definitely looking at it, and some are hoping that it is first contact. What do you guys think? I would love for you to call in at 224-400-MARF, and if you want to read the rest of this article, you can go to marfooglenews.com. British X-Files of UFO sightings is going public. This is pretty nuts. So apparently their version of, the Black Book is apparently going public. Now, I bet you it's going to be redacted heavily, and I bet you that it's not going to have kind of the mind-blowing things that people think it will. Some things were released in our neck of the woods in the United States, but of course it was so redacted you didn't actually know what the hell was going on. It says, from the 1950s to 2009, a department of the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense, or the MOD, documented and investigated reports of UFOs. Now, more than a decade after the program ended, many of those formally classified files about UFO sightings will be made available to the public for the first time. Previously, some MOD files about the UFOs have been published online at the UK National Archives website. The Telegraph reported, however, that all of the agency's UFO reports will be released this year on a dedicated government UK webpage. It says a spokesman for the British Royal Air Force, RAF, told the Telegraph. So that's pretty interesting as far as what is going on. It says the decision came after PA Media, a British news agency, filed a request for the UFO files under a Freedom of Information Act, according to the Telegraph. It says it would be better to publish these records rather than continue sending documents to the National Archives. So who knows what we will end up seeing? And of course, that's going to be their X-Files type things. Who knows what they're actually going to show us and what's actually going to come out. It's going to be quite weird. If you guys want to join our Discord, this is part of what I was talking about. Creators, including some of my big creator friends, are now joining this creators group. What it is it's for us who actually create, not the haters, that actually spend our time trying to help others or get our message out to others. The Creators Corner, of course, the simple requirement is 100 plus subs and 20 plus vids. If you're not there yet, we can even try to help you get there. As far as for DLive, don't even think that there's going to be a minimum as of yet. If you're in DLive, we're just going to pretty much let you in. I think that that's fair because it's a lot harder to get things started over on DLive if you don't have a following. Exclusive military channel for former and current military. Again, if you are military, number one, thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice for our country and others, and we appreciate what you do. Make sure to go into that group. You are the only ones that are allowed in that group. The only time we go there is to ask a question or to respond to a question. We try to stay out because we are not previous military. Now, go to marfooglenews.com. Make sure to sign up for Marfoogle Alerts. If you've already gotten our alerts, you know what we're talking about. Essentially, we put together a lot of information, including on the last alert we just sent out. That had not only the interview, but that also had all of the tweets, every video that we compiled on the China situation. Make sure to sign up for it now. All right, and then, of course, Antarctica appears to have had a record-setting heat wave, and it says the temperature in northern Antarctica hit nearly 65 degrees, a likely heat record on the continent best known for snow, ice, and penguins. Now, 65 might not sound that hot, but that's nearly t-shirt weather in Antarctica. That's pretty nuts. We're talking 5 degrees away from 70 degrees. like a, all year round Hawaii kind of weather. That's pretty nuts. I mean, that's cold in Hawaii, but that's like that's like an okay or a cold day in Hawaii. It says the reading was taken Thursday at an Argentine research base and still needs to be verified by the World Meteorological Organization. It says everything we have seen thus far indicates a likely legitimate record. Randall Cervini, who researches records for the organization, said in a statement. He added that he is waiting for full data to confirm. Now, I know that some people are going to be screaming, no, that's fake. It's not actually that hot. I don't know. I nor you have most likely been to Antarctica, since it's illegal to go there. It's totally top secret half the time, as far as, half the ways to get there. So I don't really know. It's kind of like saying, does space exist? Have any of us been there? No. So a lot of strange things have come out of Antarctica. We've covered some of them. There's other channels that cover a ton of stuff in Argentina, like Mr. MBBB333. All those guys cover, really great stuff as far as what is there. Grand Supreme News, others that do that. Now, it says the research base called Esperanza sits on a peninsula that juts up towards the southern tip of South Africa. The peninsula was warmed significantly over the past half century, about 5.4 degrees, according to the World Meteorological Organization. If you want to read the rest of this, you can make sure to go to marfooglenews.com. Now, check this out. On the anniversary of the New Madrid earthquake, here's how to prepare for the next quake. Now, Dex, you added this in here. I know you have an opinion on this. Would you like to share that with them?
Well, hey, Adam. I mean, it is kind of interesting that, that we should remind people that, this earthquake did happen, and it can happen. I mean, it rang the bells all the way in Philadelphia, right? I mean, it was a big event, and it can happen again. It will happen again. So
rivers went backwards.
Yeah, just because you don't live on the West Coast doesn't mean you shouldn't be paying attention to potentially catastrophic sized earthquakes, and they can happen in that area. And it's really good to understand that and make sure that you don't think that you're immune to it just because you're not on the West Coast, right? And we're seeing these things pop up. I mean, we're seeing them in the islands, right? And we've seen them in Puerto Rico and other islands. So, smaller quakes do happen up and down, the eastern seaboard sometimes, but, a big one can really happen, and it has happened. And this type of reminder is good for everybody in that area to know.
Now, of course, it is February's Earthquake Preparedness Month, and today marks 208 years since Missouri has seen the major earthquake. In 1812, a major 7.5 earthquake destroyed the town of New Madrid in the Boothul of Missouri. Effects from the quake were felt in St. Louis, and tremors rang the bells in Philadelphia. These seismic waves also developed a few smaller fault lines here in the Ozarks. Most of these faults are inactive or only have small tremors. It says the fault line in New Madrid on average goes off every 600 years. While the risk is low for a major earthquake to occur, smaller tremors are felt thousands of times per year. Now, I've talked to some of the experts like Chris Goldfinger, the lead seismologist on the Cascadia Subduction Zone. He has his own TED Talk. He, of course, was the subject of what made it go viral, the really big one by the New Yorker. And he said 20 years ago, when I asked him this question, if you asked him, hey, can one earthquake cause another? He said that 20 years ago, he would have said, no, you're crazy, that can't happen. But today, it is a scientifically proven fact all over the world. Doesn't matter where you go, what school you're taught in, it is a fact that one earthquake can trigger another, and not even next to it. You're talking about on the other side of the world. What Dutch Sense calls those is an antipode. Now, of course, he's one of the few that actually talks about that. You don't hear as much about the antipodes anywhere else. It's kind of funny. But as far as Cascadia Subduction Zone triggering the New Madrid, that is a possibility. As far as Cascadia Subduction Zone, which is due and overdue, and military are absolutely prepping, 21 states are preparing, including Arizona, for people to be literally walking from California, Oregon, and Washington. This is all facts. We've shown you the proof. They're drilling for people walking from California. Kind of reminds you of the Denver mural, huh? All those people walking up with their suitcases and people sick. Kind of weird. But as far as this being triggered by something else, a lot of people have said that it is not only a possibility, it almost is a probability as far as the two plates that are involved. And if the Cascadia subduction zone is going to be as big as they say it is, 9+ earthquake, that could shake loose and possibly trigger an early New Madrid. The thing is the Cascadia subduction zone happens on average every 270 years, every 240 years. It has now been 320. So we are 80 years overdue for that earthquake. It says, if another major earthquake was to shake Missouri, the effects would even be felt here in Springfield. That's pretty nuts. So again, people should have preparedness down. People should be doing drills. Again, the military drills and does contingency plans for everything. Civilians do not. A lot of our people do, and my thing is not to say, be scared and always be worried about everything that's happening. My point is it takes so little time to actually spend just, 10 minutes a week drilling or, planning for something or setting aside $5 a week. There's people like Alaskan Prepper who essentially does videos, and every Friday or every other payday, he goes and spends $10 on prep. Just that, over a year, all of a sudden you got a whole lot more prep. And again, earthquakes are, you can live through, and they're survivable. The viruses that go around, they're survivable if you are prepared and if you are careful. So these are all things that you shouldn't fear, you should be aware of and look at them just like anything else. If you were in a bad neighborhood, you're going to look out and you're going to be looking over your shoulder. That's what we should be doing with all these different subjects. It's just simple common sense. So, with that being said, if you want to not miss our show, we actually have a notification system set up through marfooglenews.com. The notifications are not available for iOS yet, but we are coming soon with that feature. Of course, look for the prompt and look for the bell. It is a red bell like this, or it's a white box that says, hey, Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. All that is it's sending you notifications when we go live or when we put out a new video or alert via email. It works with all browsers and Android. Again, iOS, not yet. Now, check this out. WW3 threat, Iran and NK raise stakes by boosting submarine fleets. We have heard so much about this, and we just talked about it on the last show, about how Admiral General just said that we're not safe on the East Coast anymore. It's no longer a safe haven because of all the Russian submarines. We, of course, had that incident not too long ago where the gentleman passed away on the Scientific's top secret super sub just about 6 months ago. The one where they said they averted a planetary catastrophe. That was part of these submarine things that are going on underneath, that we've gotten multiple threats that they could cut our communication lines between us and, of course, our UK allies. The things that they can actually do, factually, not, beating on their chest and saying they sending 300-foot waves and all these things that are, way over the top, which, by the way, they can do. This is something that would be the first kind of step as far as their submarines would be a big part of a next conflict. It says in the speech in the northeast of the country yesterday, Naval Commander Admiral Hussein Khanzadi boasted about Ryan's burgeoning underwater military capabilities, with Pyongyang also in the process of revamping its capabilities. He said, quote, "The most complex pieces of equipment in the world are those found in the military, and among the military equipment, with the most complex found in the Navy, especially submarines." So everybody is talking about submarines. Everybody's ramping up. They never talk about submarines, really. And now, all of a sudden, they are. So that's just the one thing I look out for. It's like they never talk about it, and all of a sudden, there's all these different countries talking about their submarines. What the hell is going on? Is it some sort of, subconscious heads up? So again, hit this. Go. Do you have anything to say about this, Dex?
Adam, I do. I thought it was rather interesting. I never really given much thought to Ryan, but they have apparently 34 subs, and that makes him, I think, the 5th largest fleet. And NK, which we know a lot about, we talk a lot about them in the past. They have like 83 subs. That's a lot of subs floating around out there, right? Especially for those two nations. Let alone, I mean, I get it between us and Russia, but yeah, that's a lot of subs.
I had no idea. So, and North Korea has more than Ryan.
Right. But I wouldn't expect Ryan to have any, to be honest. I just wouldn't have thought that they were that advanced, but they have 34.
Now, if you're on DLive wondering why we are saying Ryan, because the other platforms that we put this on, some of them actually trigger when you say the I word, and they try to knock you off for it. Because they don't want some of this, as far just even opinions talked about. So that's why we do it, and they're called spoonerisms. And yeah, we are getting back into that because we are getting hit hard. I am going to pull up DLive here in a second. I'm going to make sure that I shout out some of the folks over here. I want to thank all of you new subscribers over here. Of course, a lot of people asked, and a lot of people have been emailing. Just want to explain real quick. The Marfia badge before your name, that means that those people have subscribed. There's a button on DLive that essentially says sub or resub. You can subscribe by pushing that, and then you will get that badge. It basically means you're a supporter to the channel, and it makes your name stick out and your chat stick out a little bit more. When you say resub or gift sub, essentially you can get one and give it to somebody else, and it counts towards the channel. It's, I believe, 298 lemons per month, and then I think they give you a better deal if you do multiple months. But essentially, a lemon is 0.12 cents. So each lemon, I think, is a penny, 1.2 pennies. So if you do 300 lemons, you get to subscribe and get special kind of badges and things. So if you want to do that, you can. It's not required. You guys came out in droves on our first show. So I really appreciate that. Thank you guys. Appreciate it much. Okay, and then General Staff of Ryan's Armed Forces says strike on Iraqi bases caused heavy U.S. losses. So, again, this is another big hit. It says here that a spokesman for the General Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces said Friday that the United States was hiding heavy losses from last month's strike on Iraqi bases. It says, quote, "We did them serious damage. They will have to admit in the coming days that they cannot hide their heavy losses." So what I see here is that to keep things minimized and not to escalate, they have basically hidden a lot of people perishing, which is crazy to me because the men and women who go over and fight, or the men and women in other ones, a lot of the times they don't get recognized for their heroics, especially if they passed away during a secret op. We've seen this in history time and time again, where they end up getting a award 30 or 40 years later because they can't say what ended up happening until, way, way later. The siege of Jadotville in, I want to say, was that New Zealand or Australia? I mean, the guys from New Zealand or Australia. I forget which one that was. They did not get awarded until, decades later. And they did an amazing thing. I mean, they basically held up against thousands of soldiers with just a few. So there's a lot of crazy things that go under the radar and we end up finding out later. People, they got covered up. Now it says that U.S. President DT initially said that there was no U.S. personnel injured there in that strike, but in late January, the Defense Department said an estimated 50 U.S. military personnel were diagnosed with either traumatic brain injury, TBI, or a concussion, as approximately 200 troops were found to have been in the blast zones of the strikes. Several days later, the Pentagon put out a number of injured troops at 64. On the 8th of January, they conducted a missile strike on 2 Iraqi bases hosting U.S. soldiers in what was an act of retaliation for the assassinations of the top commander, Qasem Soleimani. Of course, people have already forgotten about that. They moved on to the impeachment and all sorts of other things, but not focused on some of the crazier stuff that's been going on. If you want to check that out, you can do so at marfooglenews.com. Here is another way. So this is actually the first time in a long time I'm like really, really just super blown away again by these guys. So somebody, I'm probably going to pull them on the show. The guys at EMP Shield, Andrew and the rest of their team, not only are they an amazing company, they're 100% American made, they are a veteran-owned business, but we keep hearing things from our Fugel family saying that these guys individually reach out and end up doing favors and things for people out of the goodness of their heart, or they do it just basically to help. What EMP Shield is it's a device which will protect people if we have all 3 phases or any of the 3 phases of an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse or a coronal mass ejection, which they say does happen about every 100 years. It's a device that grounds the signal when that happens before it can fry your devices. You can actually get one for all different kinds of devices. This is not a joke of a product. This is actually used by Homeland Security, DoD, and now they are officially on the DEMSO team, officially helping protect the Texas grid, which, of course, if you know, Texas has their own very own grid. These guys are no joke. So they are actually helping protect some of the most important sites in the country. So it's kind of smart to get something to actually protect us. Like I say, you are letting them, you're basically letting it up to them to protect you. If something happens, we basically have to depend on ourselves. You can get one for your car, your generator. Those are the 2 most important, I believe, because, again, the grid could be completely down, but if you have a generator that's protected, if you have gas around, you can start that up and have power. If you have a vehicle, but it doesn't have protection and it's out, then what good is it? If you have a bug out spot and you can't get there, what good is it? This is something we've talked about. We've shown you what our evidence is to this, what and how serious this is. The Homeland Security actually just told us that we need 6 months to a year prepared for the possibility of an EMP strike. It would take us anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to get back up and running if our entire grid went down. So it's a big deal. Make sure to check it out. A small commission of this goes to help our channel. Of course, we've been completely transparent. These guys are an amazing company. We only deal with companies we 100% believe in, and everybody that has dealt with EMP knows exactly what I'm talking about. These guys are absolutely amazing. Not to mention, they know a lot more than we do. And like we said, there's a lot of news coming out about this, and people are starting to see what we're talking about. We hope that everyone in the Fugel family gets protected. Okay, and then the China virus. Here's the official numbers. So we're going to give you an update on this. It says China virus cases increase as more preventative measures are taken. Preventative. It says out of Beijing, the rate of increase of new cases of the virus in China rose again after a brief respite, as the death toll rose to 722 on mainland, and countries around the world enforced stricter measures to contain the spread. A U.S. citizen died of the virus in Wuhan, and it says the city at the center of the outbreak, and what apparently the first American death. A Japanese being treated in Wuhan who was a suspected case also died. Did you notice how they worded that, Dex?
Yeah, Adam.
He was suspected,
I did.
Right? We have talked about this
Right.
whole thing about how they're saying that they're suspected cases, but they don't actually say that they are. He went from suspected to gone. The videos explain
Right.
it for itself. There's people all over the place, and the craziest videos are the ones of them going, really crazy stuff. I mean, people. It's not just another flu.
No. And Adam, since this article is mainstream, and we have to be really careful to just cover mainstream, especially on the platform, and that's why we have so much more information on our website. But since this article was written, the official quote unquote official number has actually gone to I think over 811. And that is a milestone because that means it's greater than SARS.
Now, I just want to show real quick. This is beat that out like nothing. Okay, so all of our stuff here, all of this is right here. So you can access it on our website. So nothing is gone now. So look at this. We sent out the alert. In the alert, tons and tons of information here. Now, of course, you've got not only information, articles, you've got all of the videos that we have collected, and now some of them are deleted. We even backed up some knowing that they were deleted and used our own system to do it. I mean, this is just nonstop. This is all information on this. You could spend a couple hours just on our site actually learning what is going on. This is incredible stuff, people. The people that are saying, oh, it's just another scare, oh, it's, this staged, this and that. Take some time and go look at our last few posts. It's absolutely unbelievable.
And the one you're showing right now is the alert we emailed out to everybody. So for everybody who has alerts and you think you didn't get one, go check. Make sure you're not stuck in spam and get that email in a position where you're going to get them in the future. But also today's show, you showed it earlier. I just want to remind people, we've got a lot of content just in the last 24 hours that has come up. So there's just as much on today's show as there was the last show and the one before. All the stuff we can't show on the main network. But yeah, I consider it restricted content, and there's a lot of information there you can dive into.
Like these guys, look at this, man. This is some crazy stuff. I'm telling you, again, if you're skeptical, go check it. It's not fun. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay. Dex, I'm going to pull up DLive. Well, you, if you can, please explain Nord.
Yeah, absolutely. So NordVPN, it's a virtual private network. And the great thing about a virtual private network is it's just that. It's a private network. It's a part of your arsenal of security tools you should have on your computer and your phone. It protects you from the bad guys. So basically moving yourself into a position where they cannot find you. They cannot get into your home network. They cannot get to your IP address, which is your identity online. That's one of the key features of a VPN. It is very easy. It's not a geeky tool. I say all the time, it's so easy. My mom uses it, and it's true. It is that easy. It's like turning on and off a light switch. It also secures your connection. So all of the data you're passing on the internet cannot be sniffed out and tracked if you're on a Wi-Fi or a shared Wi-Fi in the Starbucks or somebody infiltrates your home network. Using a VPN helps secure that layer and protect you from the bad guys. So if you go to marfooglenews.com/VPN, it'll take you directly to Nord. They'll have special offers just for the Foogle fam. You get great discounts. You can use the product on up to 6 different devices at the same time. So you have no reason not to protect yourself. And it's so easy. Turn it on, turn it off. marfooglenews.com/VPN.
Thank you. And I actually did not have the slide there, but it's really easy. It's marfooglenews.com, and then at the end, just add the VPN after the / and you'll get right there. Or you can go to our shop, like he said. Okay, and then I am going to pull up. Let's see here. We've got the chat over here. What's up, Jimbo? Bruce, 1272, Blazing Eyes, DBMMS Graham, Lady Sylvanas. Not gonna say that. I like that. 20 dead in Thailand Bang Bang event, says C130. Christ Page 81. Anthony P, saved by Jesus. Thunderbird, Foothill Mama. Thanks Acceleration Canada 21 for becoming Marfia members. Let's see here. Kitty, Kit, or Katrina, GT476. Thank you guys. Hey, Zuzu, Lucky Tiki 2. What is going on? Nice to see you over here. Meme521, Gene Blythe, Fear Porn. What's going on, buddy? Barnes fam, Kevin Foogle fam. Of course, all Marfia members. Thanks, guys. Seriously, you guys blew us away on the first show. Again, Dex and I really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. The Woken, Penny Lane 87, Dex J, what is going on? MNC Pam, Casper Sparks, Sandra 1209, Nick G20, Adnar, Zoe Moon, All Pets, Earthworm Jim, Carl S. You guys are all absolutely amazing. Seriously, we are also going to do a shorter shoutro. But the next show is going to be blowing your socks off. And again, there's just so much stuff that we're going to be putting on. We've got a huge project going on. JFN57, The Woken. Thank you guys. Betty Sue, thank you. Appreciate it. The Woken, Tokomo Gaming. What's going on, buddy? Thank you. You didn't have to do that. Again, check out anybody with a check mark. That usually means they are a creator here on DLive. Make sure to check them out. That again was Tokomo Gaming. F0289. Echo Charlie 1. All right, you guys. I just wanted to shout out some of you because honestly, you guys are getting through us a really tough patch. But again, we're doing the DLive thing. A lot of people had like a lot of crazy feelings about. There's so many good people over here. You guys got to get past about the actual site. You got to get into the people. I know that people had, I think a lot of rumors were spread about it from the bigger places that really don't want competition. So again, you can check out any of that on our website. We're going to take a call. Let's get straight into it, Dex. And then I'm going to say thank you in just a little bit here for all of the folks from the previous show, including David Wad, Jacob F., John Raxness, Susan Donahue, Lawrence Lozier, John Raxness again, Susan Big, Paul Crane, Kelly Josie, Franny, Cascadia, Dan Bledsoe, Christy Angel, Bob Americana, Shirley Graham, Sherry Boo 65 Boone. I'll be shouting you out in just a second. Okay. Again. All right, guys. Let's see here. Mariah, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Oh, nothing much. How are you doing, Adam?
Good. So it says here, and let me just pull up your card. Evidence cloaking technology. Check out these videos. So what am I pulling up here?
So I was just in the backyard of the apartment we rent. It's vintage, like one of the first homes in Salt Lake, and weird light beams were moving around and stuff was like glitching. That's not normal, right?
No.
So I whip out my phone. Well, I already had it out because I was filming my cat, like a girl. Do you have those videos up? I do. So I'm going to full screen this. I've got 4 videos going from a yard to a house to a car. It's going to take about 30 seconds to get up on the screen. Remember, we're a little bit delayed. Okay.
There we go. So what's the first one? It's 1 minute and 2 seconds. It's looking at the yard.
You said 1 minute and 2 seconds?
Yes. It's butterflies flying around.
Did Dex also show you the email? I have timestamp.
No, let's see here. So what are we looking for in the video? All of them.
So there's an 8-second video. Can we start with that one?
Sure. Okay, let's see. 8-second video. It's got the house in it. Let's go here. Okay. What are we looking for in this video?
Like the wiggly beam is there, and you can also kind of see. Sorry for the sound. You can also see in the light. Gosh, what do you call them? Like weird little circles.
Orbs.
It was incredibly bright for me to look at in person. Do you see those like circles as I pan across the lens flare, whatever they're called? For me, it was incredibly bright, and I couldn't see anything, and I was looking at my phone.
But is this
and you can
is
kind
this
of
not
see the face and the eyes.
But do you think
is that the wrong one?
I'm just thinking of possibilities. No, it's 8 seconds. It scrolls from left to right. I see the orbs you're talking about. But wouldn't that be a lens flare from the sun?
No, because it was so bright, I couldn't see. That's the thing. I was using my phone because I couldn't see.
I see the two orbs right here.
And it kind of looks like a face, too. Like a big old alien head or something.
Well, the thing is, they move along with the phone, so I'm not trying to discount anything here. I know that there's a thin piece of glass above the camera, and if that has any kind of dust particles, sometimes it can cause something like that. But let's go to the next video. What is the amount of time on the next video? There's a 30-second video.
The 4-second one.
Okay, let's do this one.
So in that one, the fence wiggles, and the beam is there in real life. That was not just in the picture.
So you're saying, oh my gosh. Wait a second. So you're saying you could see the beam with your regular eyes?
Yeah. So I took my phone out.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Like, it was very kind of scary. This happened
oh my God, that changes
springtime.
everything. I thought, okay, if you saw this in real life, did it look like a spotlight?
Kind of, like an upside down version of like outside a haunted house, but like upside down.
That was coming down? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, coming down.
Oh my gosh. Maybe it's a reflection of the sun from a satellite or something. Oh, that is weird.
I did get a lot of sunburn.
Oh,
he cut out.
At first I was thinking, I'm like, hello, that looks like a lens flare, but it doesn't even go with the camera too. It's actually moving independently of the camera. If I saw that in real life, I would flip.
My cat reacts in the 1 minute and 2 second video to the light shifting kind of day and night-ish.
The 30-second or the 1 minute and 2 seconds video?
Let's do the 30-second one. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to do the 30-second one. You're walking through trees.
And then I know the minute one, it happens towards the very end. You could play like the last 10 seconds of that video.
Oh, I see. Your cat's there.
Do you see how it like goes like brighter?
Whoa! Oh, that's a trip. Where are you? What state? You don't have to say exactly where, but what state are you in?
Utah. Have you been in Salt Lake City?
Yeah. Well, I've only drove through. I didn't get a chance to stay, but yeah. Look at that. The cat reacts.
And this is one of the oldest houses. Evidence. I'm not crazy.
Whoa, it was like somebody turned on like somebody had a magnifying glass on Earth. This
did you see that show about the guy living in a water tower?
No, I have not.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, kind of.
Or something.
Okay, now that I know what's up, like this like changes everything about the videos.
So is that aliens or just like a bunch of creepy FBI agents?
In the last...
I feel very creeped on.
Whoa! What was that? It looked like one of those black, like the circles in a movie.
But that was all I had for you.
No, so you're saying you saw that beam of light coming out of the sky in real life?
Yeah, and it was wiggling at me.
Oh, that blows my mind.
All of my all the freckles on my face came off like 2 months later, and they hurt, but I'm okay.
So when did this happen?
I have to look at the date.
Was this summer?
June 19th, 2019 at 12:24 p.m.
So you saw
Wednesday.
my show and you said, I got to send this to Marf? Is that what happened?
Well, I took the video and I was like, did that really just happen? And I waited till December to send it to you because I was uncomfortable. But yeah, this was around the time I started watching the show too.
Oh, the circles move.
And they look at you. And that's not just me, right? They're looking at me.
That's weird.
You know,
I bet
like,
a lot of
you feel
people are
someone,
going
like,
to end up...
staring into the back of your head. Sorry.
No, I see what you're talking about. But the freakiest one is this one, because we went a little bit too long on this. Shoot. But yeah, well, thank you for calling in. Again, this one is a free. If this was visible from without the phone.
Absolutely. But it was
That is
much
nuts.
brighter. It hurt to look at. Does that make sense? Like, it really hurt. Like, I'm sensitive to light. I'm a massage therapist.
It's not moving with the phone. It's just, and it's behind the power line.
It, like, backs away.
The only reasonable explanation I could see somebody saying is that this is, how satellites have mirrors on them or something, and a reflection off of a satellite or something, direct sunbeam. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Mariah. Again, if you're saying this, if this is true, then I would love to see what the heck they say about that. Thank you so much for sending these to us.
Yeah,
okay.
I would too. I don't know.
All right, Mariah.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
You have a good night. All right. Be safe. All right. Let's see. What do you guys think about that? That is nuts. That really is. That, like, if that was real, you understand, and I'm not calling her a liar. I always try to look at things like, if that is real, that's nuts. That would be coming, you know how she said it was the reverse of like a haunted house? So the beam is thick and then it gets lighter. That one is thick in the sky and gets lighter on the ground. Nuts. Hello, you are live on Marfoogle TV. Adrian.
Hi, Marv. So, long-time watcher, first-time caller. I wanted to share with you a video I captured a while ago, which was actually precursor to it. I'll try to be quick about this. I'm sure a lot of your viewers and a lot of people have been familiar with the whole Planet Nine, Nibiru kind of idea and theory and everything like that. Well, I kind of been dreaming about it since I was a little kid. I'm 30 now, and then I started looking into it, started seeing a bunch of weird things. I ended up having a dream that told me, hey, look into videos or webcams around the world. See if you can find something. And then sure enough, I looked up at the Department of Transportation of Australia. They have this webcam for the beach in Geraldton, which is one of their beach cams, which is pointing towards the western sky. And on August 8, 2018, I ended up between the hours of around, let's say, 4:30 to before sunrise, I ended up catching this giant anomaly that looks like there's another second sun in the sky. And the reason I wanted to share this with is, because one, I've never seen a footage like this. And yes, I recorded it off of my phone because I didn't have like film capturing software at the time, but you can clearly see what it is. I ended up doing my own research later on to see if I can, if that was the moon that day or anything like that. But if you type into coordinates where that is for that day and time, the moon was rising with the sun that day from the opposite direction. And so if you look at the footage, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Now,
muted because I made dumb comments.
Now, do I have your full permission to show this video on all my channels?
Yes, for sure. I'd say, fast forward it a little bit, but you'll see, like, this is a time lapse from before sunrise to sunrise. And then, like I said, you'll see that the sun rises from the opposite direction. And this is up there for several hours in the sky. And so I feel that this whole climate thing that we're dealing with, all these anomalies, all these earthquakes, and all this recent talk about Planet 9 in popular science and everything like that, I really think that there could be a possibility that something is coming our way. And
what?
And like we say, yeah, exactly. Look at that. And
what?
And then as soon as the sun rises, it disappears.
Are you?
And I have another
what?
footage. Yeah, I know.
What?
Every once in a while, I'll monitor this webcam, and I'll catch anomalies there all the time. There's something to it. It can't be seen, obviously, during every day or every whatever, because I don't think we're facing that part of the sky. Just like a Oumuamua and everything, this thing is along an elliptical orbit. And I feel it's just convenient. All these things that are going on, these earthquakes, all these anomalies, I really feel like it's because we're basically being caught in an electromagnetic tug of war between these other celestial bodies in our solar system. I mean, there's so many things going on right now that it just doesn't add up that it's just us humans causing all of this.
It goes up and then it goes down. It goes up and then it goes down, and it's not sunset.
No, it's not. And that's not the moon either, because the moon was rising with the sun that day. I looked it up. And I have another video that I uploaded on an alternate channel of that same beach. And this time during the sunset, and you just see a giant red streak come through the sky as it sets. Like I said.
Oh, my Lord. What was that?
I needed to share this with people. I don't know, but
the sun is over there. Look at the shadows.
Exactly. You see?
What?
See, as it rises, right? As
Mind
it rises,
blown.
the sun is coming from the opposite direction.
What?
I'm glad that
the shadows. The sun is setting over there. It's behind the camera.
No, it's rising. The sun is rising behind from the camera.
What?
And here's the funny thing: is that when I had this vision, it was like we were passing through I think it was the 888 Heaven's Gate.
Wait a second, you see the rainbow there
kind of
too?
Astrological...
Did you see the object in the rainbow? Look at this kind of black thing here, and then it turns into a rainbow. Look right here. There's like a beam of light.
Yeah, it's a trip.
What? The clouds are moving, but it's not. And then look, there's another object and another object, and then boom, watch. There's a rainbow right here. What in the world?
Yeah.
That object wasn't there.
This isn't. And I mean, we've already seen plenty of cases where, like, the sun is blinking, or that the strange chem that seems to show that, oh, we have our sun right here, but then it looks like there's another object illuminating us. we've already heard the speculations of the sun simulators plenty of times. What if this is, and if you know anything about the electric universe theory, or even Tesla's things, two high energized particles like that, like these two suns, would probably cause siphoning energy off of each other, and one would dim. So we're going through a solar minimum right now. What if this other object that's entering our solar system is diminishing the energy from our sun, which is why they're constantly skies.
Well, you got to stop. You can't say that one on. We got to censor you twice already.
Yeah. Okay.
That word is.
So sorry, I forgot.
We'll just get the video so nobody watches. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. But yeah.
No, I'm blown away. This is nuts because it goes up and then it goes back down, and then you see the sun rise on the other side. Even if it was, say, a 24-hour cycle, and you saw it go down over there and then come around the other side, it goes up, then down, then the sun rises.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
And like I said, I have another video that I'll just save for another time. Let's say that. But same beach, but better quality, and except this time it's during sunset, and you can see after the sun sets, there's a giant red streak that goes through this behind the clouds, setting, following the sun.
Oh my! This is just nuts. These two back-to-back. Did you watch the last caller with the beam of light coming out of the sky?
Yeah, I was paying attention.
What did you think of that? Isn't that kind of, these are two really like close related
videos?
I thought
it was funny because, like I said, there seems to be some kind of weird anomalies going on with the way our sun is working. We can't argue that, and we seem to be psychologically being prepped for so many things, like, you know, extraterrestrial things or anything like that of that nature, and we're being warned of catastrophic Earth changes, right? Who's to say these things aren't all connected, you know? But we're being played with the little Kansas City shuffle. Look over here, being distracted, so you don't have to worry about what's going on over here.
Absolutely. Great point. Adrian, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. You absolutely just blew my mind. If that is what it is, that's crazy. Somebody's got to have an explanation. I'm sure somebody's going to come and explain that away. I would love for you to do so.
I would really love that. I would really love that, because for me to be drawn over here to look just through my dreams and to immediately find that, it was too much of a sign for me. Like I said, I try to go onto like astronomy programs to try to see what kind of celestial body it could have even had come close to giving that kind of effect in this video. Nothing. I mean, there shouldn't have been anything there.
Absolutely.
But,
Adrian, great. Best call of the week, probably the month. And same with you guys both back to back.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
I just want to say to you and Dex and everybody, you guys are fantastic. I really love what you're doing. Keep up the great work, man.
Hey,
and,
thank you.
Much love to the Fugel fam.
Let's see that other video, okay? We're going to be on on the next show. Maybe if you can email us and
for sure.
show us what you got, okay?
I'll send it your way.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Take care.
Holy moly. And like I said, if that is what it looks like, again, if that's really, if there's nothing to explain that, it is Australia. Like, I'm trying to think of a way that would make sense. Dex, did you see these before you put them through?
Does the sun rise twice in Australia? Is that something special down there?
Okay, so here's the Earth. But... it would have to rise, go down, and then it's like it was somebody with the sun was like a DJ, and they're like, Ebra, nope. What? And it doesn't rise backwards, because even if no matter how you put this, it doesn't do this. It doesn't do a little sun shimmy, an Australian sun shimmy. I didn't get that. All right.
Yeah, these images are always really interesting at, because it really makes you question like what's happening. And it's good to try and dig in and see if you can identify, lens flares, things like that. But I mean, like that light beam, it was moving. The camera was moving one way and the light beam was moving a different on its own, right? There's a lot of interesting things to question in both of these calls. Yeah, I got to see them both, and they were great.
Absolutely nuts. Well, so Dex, just to kind of cap off, I want to thank you. This is a shorter show today. Our next show is probably going to be a long one, and then we're also going to be doing a exclusive video, which will be free to everyone, on some of the stuff that we can't cover here on DLive, but also on YouTube. Never going to stop there. Thank you guys for supporting me no matter what, as far as showing up to every show. I appreciate all of you. There's nothing much more I can say about that. To my friends out there, I just really can't say enough. Dex, is there anything else you want to add?
No, great show. Thanks, Adam. Happy birthdays to the little ones and middle little ones, and much love to everyone else out there. God bless.
Well, God bless you. It's going to be a shorter shoutro, but I'm still going to shoutro. It's not a shout out. It's not an outro. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that really matter, you guys. Thank you guys on DLive. I appreciate you that anyone who has done the badge or subscribed. I'm going to head into the chat room, and then on YouTube, there are some people that I'm actually making songs for. Thank you guys for your support. If you do end up supporting on YouTube, super chat wise, going forward, and the last show, I'm actually doing kind of a little 30-second songs that I make completely from scratch. So I'm doing it. If I believe it's basically, I'll end up putting a thing there so you can see what I'm talking about. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Be safe, be prepared, and of course, Marf out. Thank you, Little Wrong Way, The Woken, Linda Way, Love Pugs, Silver Fox 2134, Grego2, Ginger Grin, Serenity PA, Relly Bansky, Ta Wesley, Ginger Loco, Mad Mike, Polly Hunter, Thunderbird 3675, Authorized, says Mr. Bean does his dishes. Kevin Fugelfam, thank you very much. And remember, you can go to marfooglenews.com to find anything that you found here. I'm going to crack the chest here in just a second and make sure you say thank you to the mods. I'm also going to make sure to host somebody awesome. Dax, make sure that we can pick, let's see here, someone absolutely great. Stick around for the love of your life. heaven of the light, and you know we just fine. Deuces, Machine, Prime, and Kelly, 2, 3, 3, 4, and Susie can see. And the JFM 57 and the Red 1967 be hanging out with Mr. Heaven. Mr. Heaven. We've got the M&B, a Brandy, and a Nara, and not Mr. Deckloff. Mr. Deckloff. Your voices of the race gonna kick it with Mr. Jay-Z from the NL. Oh yeah. The helpful hints in the Buck Nasty 05. Gonna be the JoJo like my 5. On the right with the Black Sheep 8. The Lucky Ticket 2 and the Atlas 928. The Gene Blythe and the Cricket Lulu. Gonna bring it to you. Yabba dabba sexy. Oh damn, Kevin Fugel fam and Acceleration. Thank you, Kevin 20 and that Canada 21. Kim Possible, impossibly the best person here. Annabeth. I did it. I went there. Annabeth. Doing that. Rock now. With my spot. With Random Steve, Mayella, Zuzu, Thorns, and to Wesley 67. I just wanna go back down, Gregor all night long now. And no way that you've got that David Ward around. Thank you for your super chats. Now for the rest of the super chatsers, the super batsers. Jacob F. Susan Donahue. And Lauren Slazier. John Arachnus. Arachnophobia. Gonna pack this. Susan Big and Paul Crane. Thank you, Kelly Jo Z, for being an awesome, amazing person. Hey. Hey, Susan Big and John Ragnes, Lawrence Lazier and Susan Donahue. Gotta do what you do with the Kelly Jo Z, and everybody's gonna kick it with you, cause you part of the Marfoogle crew. I'm out to do what I do with the Dan Bledsoe and the rest of my friends and the Christy Angel and the rest of my men. Hey, Bob Americana, thank you for being here every night. And we got the demo with the Cherry Boo, 65 and the Boone, and I gotta do everything now. High five Shirley Graham and Bob American. Mr. Man, he's always doing what he can to support that Marfoogle fam. Marfoogle fam. Oh. Everybody gotta do it like they do, and D-Live in it is the Mom Crew. YouTube and D-Live coming together, that's what we're talking about. It was so much better. Twitter at Marfoogle and Instagram at Marfoogle. It's pretty easy. It's at Marfoogle. At Marfoogle. I'm sorry, what is it at? It's at Google? No. Where? What is it at? At Marfoogle. What is it now? What is it? I didn't hear you. What? At Marfoogle. Now remember, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Hey, it's good to be back. Never hit it like that. Now I'm gonna hit back down to the side, going back, and now we ride. Gotta kick it with my big jester, me hanging out with Tedessa. Gonna get that M&B, Ronson and the famine, oh damn. Kicking it with Mr. Reichel, sitting there with Miss Heidel, Liberty 333, hanging out with Mo and Kelly Joe the G. Hey, Jonathan Esparza, gonna hit it back now with Cara, right over down to Mrs. Sarah. I never claimed to be good, but I do have more cowbell than the average. OM Nurse and the darling Nikki, got to go back, I ain't picky. But that lady Lexi, gonna bring it, and we flexing. Peachy Tender 93, got that Jesse Lynn by me. Equine Prepper, great channel to check out Lindo AMD. Hey, Anita Torres, 360, gonna bring it. Gotta get dressed, and that Loki gonna go lurking. Gonna go lurking. Gonna go lurking. A GT476, gotta bring back in a Kimbo kicks. Gonna bring me some Jimbo, and you get that woken Lolo. Now remember, when we do a host, they say we should do 5 hosts a month. But when we do it, make sure to bring the Foogle fam love to whatever channel you go to. If I was gonna roll it, I would take the Foogle family and stroll it. Gotta go back, where are we going? Hey, make sure to pick somebody knowing. Hanging out with the woken. Gig is happy, and I'm out now, and I'm a now, and Channel Jammer. Phil Billy from YouTube. Jim from the YouTube, Preferred Truth Media with the God Steady, gonna go bring it and go bring it to ya. Bird 79, you're the only awesome thing here. Barefoot Lass, look in a mirror. All we got to do is love each other. Got to bring it back, no butter. No, got to bring it down. Oh no, bring it. Thank you, Heidi11, Canadian lover of Marf. Whoa, what? I love the name. Lindy Way MD0, The Woken, Jesse Lynn, Jimbo. All of you. I absolutely love you.
Already cracked.
hear you.